Hi, I'm Clayton.
And I'm Alex.
And these are the things we've seen. All right, so
anyways,
I guess a good starting point is this whole idea for the podcast has been sitting in my head for at least since 2018, 2019. It has gone from in my head to a phone call directly to Alex saying, "Do you want to do this?" And his immediate first response was yes. I didn't even tell him the name because...
Which was really funny because when you called me, or when you told me to call you, I was like, oh no, he wants something. He wants something bad. I thought for sure you were going to be like, I want you to do this in a band with me. And I was going to be like, no, I don't want to do that.
I want you to be a bass player in this band.
But now, like, whatever.
Yeah.
It's fine. But then you were like, I really want you to do this podcast with me. And I was like, oh yeah. And then I was like, yeah, that'd be really cool. And then you dropped the name on me, and I was like, well, duh.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, we have to.
That name, I'm kind of shocked no one's taken it and ran with it yet. But I think it's clever. I think
Trademark.
I have to
trademark right now.
I have to trademark that because there's another things we've seen, but it's going to be like an SEEN, and it's going to be like birds, or like people that live next to airports, and like...
You got a sad life.
Take
if
picture.
You live
Take picture. I used to live next to an airport.
And you were depressed.
We were. So yeah. Me and my fiance used to live right next to an airport, and those planes get fucking low, dude.
Dude, that's scary. Imagine
shit!
this.
I just realized we can't monetize this on YouTube because I dropped the F-bomb. So
fuck.
Whoops.
So anyway.
For whoops.
For whoopsie. Yeah. Sorry, we didn't mean to say the fuck word.
Yeah.
So imagine this. You're at home. You're just chilling there. And you're like, I think this is the right time to take just a peaceful little dump, right? And all of a sudden, plane's coming down, and you hear it, and you go, well, I guess it's not peaceful anymore.
This is it. This is how I die.
And then you fucking die.
So that is actually like a small reoccurring fear of mine when I lived next to an airport was... It's just gonna crash, or it's gonna Donnie Darko me, you know, and it's just gonna an engine that just goes right through, and it's not gonna hit Lenore, it's not gonna hit any of the cats, it's not gonna hit my fiance, it's gonna hit me. I'm gonna die.
Target you. You're being targeted by a Boeing 757.
A Boeing 750 or 37. Yeah, a Boeing whatever is something 777 is too good for me. It would just be a puddle jumper.
I probably know the guy flying it then.
Do you actually know a pilot?
I do. I went to high school with a guy who very recently became a pilot.
That's
sick. For real.
That's sick.
He came into my work one day, and I was like, "Oh, how have you been? What have you been up to?" And he's like, "Yeah, I fly planes." And I went, "Oh, you can just do that?"
Well, I'm gonna do a podcast in a basement, so you have a great day, sir.
You have a lovely time flying that little plane of yours. I'm gonna go sit on this couch.
Did you see the most recent episode of Loki? Because well, of course you did, because you did it in your plane. I don't know.
Well, the craziest thing is I've never seen TV.
I haven't either. I've had since 1984 to watch TV, and I've never seen a single episode of TV.
Dude, it's got a lot of seasons. I have yet to see one.
Yeah. I don't know any pilots, unfortunately. No. I'm so sorry. Yeah, no, I think it's fair to, let the audience know that we're liars now.
Yeah, we're liars and cheats. And you should give us all your money.
Oh, dude! Speaking of liars and cheats, isn't that a lyric in an ongoing concept song?
It might be. I was gonna say it was like a shitty
failures and fakes. That's it. I fucking love that song. If anyone hasn't watched or listened to the ongoing concept, that band is amazing.
Didn't they just come back?
Yeah.
Very recent.
And I discovered them from the CoverGirl music video, and then they did like their regular touring schedule, and then they had some rough waters. And I don't know what
Sorry, was yawning.
a boat pilot. You know?
They had one of those boat pilots.
Boat pilot episode. No, and but they went through some ups and downs, and damn, like they're back, and that shit hits hard right now.
Because I heard something the other day with a banjo in it.
Yeah,
and I was like, wow, that's crazy. They're really out here.
That's either Cover Girl or they did something new. Like I still haven't explored that whole.
I think it was something new. I could have sworn it was.
Yeah, it's probably it, but. So enough banter to get things going. So I'm here now to interview this fine gentleman, basically to kind of get this up and running so that you know who we are and we're not just some yahoos trying to start this. I wanted to get this podcast up and running because, our local music scene, I think is getting a lot stronger, than it has been. It just needs a good, kind of extra little kick in the ass.
Yeah,
and
it's kind of been through a lot lately.
Yeah,
we won't go into details, but
we're just gonna
there's
leave
been
it
a lot
there.
that's happened in our scene lately, and the whole point of this is to kind of show off our friends, other people in town, in any kind of art too, not just music.
Yeah, you guys got some amazing shit going on right now, like. Everyone that's in a band, whether you're, like doing something in hardcore or whether you've got a hip hop project or something just like a jam band that like, goes downtown and like just chills out. Like we want to talk to you and we fucking love you guys because you're keeping shit going. You're making me and Alex want to do this shit right now so that you can have a platform, come on here and talk to us. So, and that's an open invitation to like, I mean, there's bands I know that are in Pennsylvania right now. And I mean, between the both of us, we know a ton of people. So
yeah, after we'll get into it more in a little bit, but we've both toured, played in several bands, been all over the place. So we know a lot of people and we've seen a lot of different scenes. And right now, with all the bad things that have recently happened here, in terms of like venue stuff, it's really cool to kind of see everyone come together and make a show at a different place that's not the normal happen.
Yeah.
And really it comes down to one guy who like said, I'm going to make it happen. Mm-hmm. But it's really cool to see everyone else go, oh, okay, like we can still do something and there's still going to be a place to go, even if it's just this one show for now.
Yeah,
it's a start.
And if it's not a show, it's something small like this, where, you've got like an actual safe space where you can come on and just chat about fucking music. And we want to learn more than just your music too. Like, what's your favorite movie, Like,
how would Cameron Loesch make the movie better?
How does Cameron Loesch make this band better? How does he make this movie better? Would he be your bartender?
And if so, would you tip him?
So that'll be. I'm gonna set that as a goal right now. But when we grow a little bit more, I'd like to see Cameron get on the show. So we're gonna just hashtag him
every time,
ungodly amount until. I don't know how many bags of Doritos that we're going to have to get in here. How many tickets to the Dells I'm going to have to buy that guy. But look,
how much we're going to have to bribe EJ Shannon.
He needs to get on the show too, by the way.
I only want goth EJ though.
Oh my gosh, that guy, like, no. But yeah, going back to it, just giving everyone that chance to, have an open forum to just come and talk about music. We're going to try and make a really, really strong effort to be at the Omni Center, and,
talk to everybody in the bands and people that are there just hanging out at the show. It's a pretty important one, for everyone here. Not just us. It's really important for everybody that we've got this right now. 'Cause it's been a chaotic couple months and I think everyone kind of needs this outlet. Yeah.
There's different things that we can all do, and I think this came in a perfect opportunity to I was just on the verge of getting over my little what I call my scene PTSD, you know, I've got the anxiety of, you know, can I get back into the music scene after being out of it for so long? And just when I was about to, and everything happens, and I'm like, all right, well, back to the drawing board. So I went back and started working my butt off at work some more, trying to, you know, turn the gears in my head, because I'm not gonna lie, my job is awesome, but, you know, I'm thinking of what can I do creatively,
Right.
when I'm out off of work. Like, do I buy a new plugin, and or
Like,
do
what
I?
can I do with my time?
Yeah, and that's what I've been doing for almost 7 years now. It's been 6 years since I think the last show I've played.
It's been that long.
It's been a while. So
Man, that
2017.
feels like a lifetime ago.
2017 to the So yeah, 6 years, and yeah, it's time to get back into it. I've spent enough time.
Well, I think we should kind of dive in a
Yeah.
little bit, kind of expose ourselves.
Yeah, so major exposure coming up.
Whoa!
Oh my god! So if you get those cheesy '90s graphics from Wayne's World or something,
I'm actually just gonna hire the Wayne's World editors.
dude,
I'm gonna go on Fiverr and find them.
that dude is on Fiverr right now.
Yeah, he's on Fiverr right now, or he's dead. I don't really know.
He's probably up there actually. Oh god, that's like Jim Downey. He's the comedian that worked on tons of SNL stuff. I bet he could find him.
Oh, I'll just
But
call Mike right now.
that's the assumption that I know who Jim Downey is. So no one knows who Jim Downey is that's watching
He's
this.
not real.
No, maybe like two really good friends that have talked about Jim Downey in the past 2 months that I know, but that's about it. But no, my goal right now is to expose the truth about Alex, and that's exactly what I'm about to do. So
I'm gonna get exposed so hard.
it's gonna be ridiculous.
Thank God. Thank God.
So I guess let everyone know where were you born? Is this your hometown?
Yeah, so this is my hometown. I guess we didn't mention this yet. So talking about our scene, we're from La Crosse,
Yeah.
Wisconsin here. Grown up here, born here, whole life's been here. And I just kind of live outside of La Crosse a little bit, but it's always kind of been home.
So school has always been in this area?
Yeah, school's always been here.
Wow.
Family's always been here. I've gotten to go a lot of places, of course, but like a home base is here and always has been, which is nice because it's kind of cool that I was able to get into the scene here at like a really, I don't know if this is the right way to word it, but like a really pivotal time for me.
Mm-hmm.
Because music has always been like a really big thing in my family and around us. Like if it weren't for my dad, I probably wouldn't really care about music in the way that I do.
Mm.
I mean, he was showing me Metallica and like Godsmack and like.
So what's the first Metallica album you heard?
The first Metallica album I heard, and my favorite Metallica album, and I think. I don't know if it's like controversial or anything, or like a hot take, but I think people would be a little like, oh, why is that your favorite? But my favorite and the first one I ever heard was Load.
Dude, okay.
Load and then Reload.
Those
are my two favorite Metallica
I don't
albums.
care what anyone says because I'm glad that you said that. Those are mine.
Really?
They're like first album that I was like, okay, I dig this was Load, and it was Until It Sleeps. That music video terrified the fuck out of me when I was a kid.
Oh, yeah.
And so what's funny about that is because a lot of gatekeepers are going to be like, oh well, that's the one, that you're into. Like you're not, Master Puppets or Ride the Lightning or
right. It's
whatever.
not like the mainstream option.
But I went backwards. It's like
I did the same thing.
I was like, okay, this album's legit. This is cool. Like, and I had to have been 10, so you probably weren't even born yet. So
I'm just a little lad.
yeah, I'm the grandpa here. If anyone doesn't know that, but
I'm
yeah,
just a little fella.
Yeah, so I was born in '84. Where were you born?
99.
99. Okay, so yeah, you were like 4 or 3 years old.
Yeah,
I'm guessing when that album came out.
Yeah, so and I think the first time I heard it, I was probably like 6.
So I probably heard a lot of Metallica songs, but I didn't know that they were Metallica songs. So
you didn't like understand that that's what you were listening to.
So when Load hit, I was like, when Load hit,
Ayo.
yeah, when that hit, I was like, all right, this is really cool. So then I went back and I was like, oh, well, Ride the Lightning's just sick too. Well, Master Puppets is awesome too. So, and then, Kill 'Em All, like that's where they started. So I think that's important for like gatekeepers to realize is like, anyone's going to have a starting point. I guarantee you there's a kid that is like, Saint Anger is the best damn thing that's out there right now.
Oh, or like, I'm sure there's someone right now that their first Metallica record was Hardwired.
Yeah.
Or Death Magnetic.
And then they're going to go back and listen to the other stuff.
Yeah, and that's cool. Because, like, I don't know. It was kind of cool that I started with Load and Reload and then went backwards. Yeah. And then, I don't know. Like I said, if it wasn't for my dad, I probably wouldn't be into, like, the music and stuff that I'm into now and, like, doing the things I'm doing music related. He was, like... He was the forefront of it all for me. So,
thank you, Dad.
Yeah, thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Big Mike.
Bald guy.
I don't know if that's your... Yeah, bald guy. Dude, I think today was the first day I ever met your dad. And
oh, dude, wait till he gets back. He's gonna... We'll get my dad on here one of these days just to share dad jokes.
What a nice guy. Oh, dude, dad episode.
He's got...
Anyways, all right. So would you credit your dad, because you already did for like the whole Metallica and other bands that he introduced you to, like, do you remember the first song you ever heard?
I can't remember the first song I ever heard off the top of my head.
Or like the first one that like you're like, oh, well, this has got my foot tapping, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think... So it's definitely off track from Metallica. I remember Metallica being like one of the first things I heard, but I'm trying to remember exactly how we found this or how my dad found it. But Simple Plan, was like a huge, very influential band to me. Which it's so far to the left from like Metallica things, dude, obviously. But this was like the first band that I ever got a CD of that like made me realize like, oh, music is really important. And I remember getting a copy of their first album, No Pads, No Helmets, Just Balls. And I remember being like, oh, that's a funny name. Yeah. Like, I don't fully understand it because I'm a little kid, but like, oh, that's a funny name. And my best friend he also liked the album, right? So he had a couple sisters that were a few years older than us. So she had 2 copies of it. And she gave both of us a copy because she didn't care about it. We did. And we were like, oh, cool. But she gave him like the deluxe copy. Oh. And so Jordan, I'm so sorry if you don't know that I did this. Now you're gonna find out. This is really funny to me. She gave him the deluxe one, and I got the regular one. On the deluxe one, it has a couple hidden tracks, and you can only get to it if you finish the album. Like, you can't like skip it on your CD player or anything.
It's one of those like you just let it play all the way through.
Yeah, you have to let it play because it's like at the end of a song. Yeah. And it's their song My Christmas List, which is like one of the best Christmas songs in my opinion. And I don't know, it's kind of like a sentimental thing for me because like my dad and I always loved that. Hell yeah. But it had that on there, and it had something else too, and I can't remember what it was, but it had that, and I was like, well, why does he get it? He doesn't even like that band. Like, he doesn't like them as much as I like them. He doesn't get it. And so he went off to do whatever, and I'm like, I'm gonna swap this out. And he's not gonna have a clue because there's nothing different on the CD. Like, it doesn't look different or anything to tell you that it's like a deluxe edition.
So it's just like the print is the exact same.
Yeah, it's all the same. Like, there, and I don't know if maybe there was just like a goof with mine, but like I tried and it never happened. I never got the extra songs. Yeah. So I swapped when he was off doing something, and just never said a word. And I don't think I even have the CD anymore.
I was gonna say, did you ever have that like did you ever say anything? Like,
no, absolutely not. Not till right now. At least that I can remember.
until the secret's out now.
Yeah, the secret's out now. But that was like the first thing that I really got, and that's when like I started to understand how important music was. Like, I already liked it and stuff, but it didn't hit me like what music would eventually mean to me.
So like with your own money, like, you know, let's say you mowed like 10 lawns, and then you get like your first $20, which is, you know what, $2 per lawn. So this is I'm talking in like 1993 money. So
we're talking back in the dark ages.
So if you've developed this money and you go, you know, into Barnes & Noble, Best Buy, whatever, you know, that has your CDs, what's the first CD that you buy as a little wee Alex?
The first CD that I bought, and this is 100% true, was at a rummage sale not far from where I lived at the time. And I was with my mom, and I was just like looking through the CDs, and I was like, oh, like, I wonder if there's anything cool here. Like, I don't really know anything, but if it looks cool or it sounds cool, I'm gonna get it, right?
Album art is...
And
important.
This is really funny now that I'm thinking about it. The first one I saw was Rob Zombie's Hellbillies.
Yes.
Didn't buy it because I was like, oh, my parents are going to like that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm this little kid. I shouldn't have that. But then I saw Matchbox 20, their first record. I can't think of the name right now.
Oh, the one with Push and 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that one.
I can't think of the name right now. I don't know why it's escaping me. But I saw that and I was like, yeah, that's cool. And I still love Matchbox 20.
Yeah.
But I was like, I'll get that. Like, that seems cool. Like, I bet my parents would listen to this with me in the car, you know? And that was the first CD I ever spent money on, and then it was all downhill from there. I just kept buying stuff.
That's it. I've never heard someone say Matchbox 20 is the first CD I've ever bought.
Dude, it's crazy. That's the first CD I bought. It was that, and then Rob Zombie right next to it. And I went with Matchbox 20.
I think I had a similar crossroads, but, you know, oh, God, what was mine? I think, okay, so the first CD I ever bought was Beck's Odelay, and that kind of explains a lot for like my musical direction in life, because Beck is just a fucking creative genius with everything he makes.
Yeah.
So that dude is handed an instrument and he goes, yes, you know.
So, I could probably do that.
So, I mean, I'd like to think I could do the same thing, only I devote a lot of time on guitar, obviously. But yeah, I think it was that, and then what was the new metal Slayer album? Like, I think it was Beck, between Beck and Slayer, and I went with Beck. So
I don't know. I'll get to Slayer later.
Yeah, I did. I got to Slayer a lot later.
Eventually you grew up.
Yeah. So, I mean, was Matchbox 20 the thing that, you know, you wanted to get into music? So what was the get into music band?
The get into music band for sure was Simple Plan.
Okay.
That was the one.
So
and
you were
then I was like, okay, like, let's see what else.
Because I had that written down, but I was like, I don't know if he answered that. I think he did with Simple Plan, but
that was definitely the one that like really like did it for me. That really got me into it.
So
and
were
then
like the first riffs you ever played, were they like pop punk riffs?
No. The first riffs I played were definitely just like really shitty metalcore riffs.
Nice.
No, the very first riff I ever learned how to play was Backcountry by Avenged Sevenfold.
That's a riff.
And it was just like the main first riff, and I was like, I just want to know how to do that, and then I'm good.
That's not a bad riff.
No, it was cool, because it's like, all right, like, you're doing some silly stuff right away.
Like, Backcountry is fucking awesome. Like,
dude, that whole album's like, City of Evil.
I'm not a big Avenged Sevenfold guy, but that album is very important. Like,
no, yeah, that was
very important.
That was another band that my dad showed me, because I remember it was definitely City of Evil was the first one that I heard, because then I remember him showing me Beast and the Harlot.
Okay.
And then Backcountry, because it was kind of like that was also what was on the radio.
I just love that video for how cheesy it is.
Oh, dude, it's like
so good.
Video.
It's so good.
Funny. And because that was like progressively like after I started to understand music and stuff and like what it would mean.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was just like it was on the radio all the time. You couldn't escape it. And Guitar Hero was coming out, and I was just like, oh, okay, look, this is pretty cool. And I was like, riffs are sick. Like,
yeah.
This is awesome. But I still wasn't like super into a whole lot of anything like heavier past that yet. Like, I hadn't discovered, you know, like Slayer, Pantera, anything like that yet. Mm-hmm. And not that my dad like doesn't like those things. It was just like his bands were Metallica and like Avenged Sevenfold and Godsmack.
Every generation's got that.
Def Leppard and Stryper. Like, it was all that stuff. So like I like grew up with that stuff, which is really cool, because like I still love those bands to this day. Like,
yeah.
Him and I enjoy that stuff. He just got to see Stryper a few months ago.
Oh, sick.
And I was bummed I didn't get to go.
Well, yeah, they were just here.
They were just in the Dells.
Oh, you're right. Oh my God.
He had like,
I saw people posting about that.
I think I'll ask him later, but I think he had like VIP passes and stuff. That's like his all-time favorite band.
That would have been fun.
And so I was really bummed I didn't get to go, but I think they're coming back around this way in a year or two. So we're gonna go.
Do you remember, like, did your dad take you to shows too? Like, what was your first show? Like,
okay, so first
concert, show, whatever you want.
Yeah, for the first concert, first show was a little different than you probably would have expected from me. There's a church not far from here, kind of in on Alaska-ish, and he just saw a flyer somewhere that like, oh, there's a free concert going on. Not a clue who the bands were. We just saw it was like a rock show, and we were like, okay, cool, we'll go. And I don't remember every band on the bill, but the band that like I remember that kind of stuck out to me at the time was this band called Attaboy.
Okay.
I couldn't tell you a single thing about them anymore. I don't remember.
So they're just
the
like a
music was.
local church band.
No, they were like a touring thing.
Oh, they were?
Yeah, it was like
shit.
a touring thing. They I don't know where they were from, but like they were an okay, like big-ish deal at the time for that kind of a thing.
What year is this, do you think?
2006 probably. So
So
I was about 6 or 7 years old.
So if anyone in like the post metalcore or the what is it, pre metalcore, like that era, if you know Attaboy, hit them up.
And this, this would have been like they're like a rock pop band kind of a thing. But that was like the first like concert experience I had, and that's when I was like, this is really cool. I want to go to more stuff. And so like growing up, as I got older, my dad and I would go to Life Fest, which was like a Christian music festival. And we were just like, oh, there's a bunch of cool bands that we like that are playing here. Like, we're going to go. And so we would go for, I think it was like a 2 or 3 day thing.
Okay.
And that was when I got exposed to metalcore.
Really?
Which
Life Fest. Hell yes.
This is crazy. I didn't realize what I was witnessing when I did.
Yeah.
But I saw August Burns Red on a tiny stage at the time.
Oh, that's so
and
sick.
I remember being like, this is garbage.
This is garbage.
I was like, this is the worst thing ever. Why are they screaming? And because I wasn't like exposed to that kind of thing yet, but I was like, okay, well, like that's kind of cool. Like those are like heavy guitars and like it's kind of cool. But I was like, you don't like it. They're screaming. They're not singing. That's weird. And so it was August Burns Red, and then but we would see like just about anything. And
how far away from here is like Life Fest?
It would have been in Oshkosh, so it's about 3 hours.
Okay, so that's like more bigger city market.
Yeah,
so
that made sense that they were there.
I was gonna say like so August Burns Red touring around that time. Like
this would have been 2009.
Oh, they're little babies.
Yeah, I don't even know what album they would have been on. I'm not a big August Burns Red guy by any means, but I just like that was the first metalcore band I saw.
That's so funny.
And it's crazy because then a few years later when I really got into metalcore and stuff, I was like, I'm stupid for not like paying attention like I should have. Like, that's dumb. And
I had a similar experience, but you go.
It was 100% like that was where I really got to see more music. And then my dad introduced me to like our local venue and stuff because he went to that venue as a kid.
Really?
And
did he remember any of the bands that he used to see there?
He went when it was a dance club.
Oh, no shit.
So he grew up like 45 minutes, hour away from here. So like La Crosse was kind of like the place to go to.
Yeah.
Because where he was from, it's just a small town. There's not a whole lot going on. And La Crosse is the closest, like, hey, there's stuff to do. Like, that was when the mall had stores and like an arcade and stuff, and it was cool to go to.
Yeah.
And so he would go there and he would go to the dance club, and I think he had gone to shows prior, so he knew what it was and he knew what was up. And 100%, like I mentioned before, if it weren't for my dad, I would not be exposed to music things in the capacity that I am now.
Did your dad grow up in Viroqua?
No.
Oh, I was gonna say, does he know Butch Vig? Like,
oh yeah, actually,
he knows Butch. He knows the guy that did Nirvana's Nevermind album.
Yeah, so he knows. No big deal.
But I was gonna say, oh my gosh, if he lives like anywhere close and he knows this dude, like I gotta shake some hands.
Oh no, I mean, dude, he probably knew.
Dude,
like,
Dad is solid. Like I can't wait to have him on.
Dude, my dad's really cool. He knows all kinds of cool stuff, and he'll tell you the worst jokes.
Dude, I'm here for the jokes. I'm very, very here for the jokes.
You're going to get a kick out of him.
But, do you remember, like, does he play an instrument? Like
he played in marching band and stuff in high school, and I think he played bass a little bit.
Hell yeah.
Because I remember, like, when I first bought a bass, he was like, oh, yeah, like, I played a little bit. So he kind of showed me some stuff.
So that ties in the exact next question. Was that your first instrument? Was it a bass?
Guitar was my first.
Okay.
And then because I had the desire to start a band and, like, know more things, I was like, well, I'll get a bass just so I can like do both.
Hell yeah.
And I definitely like spent more time with a guitar before a bass.
Nice.
That's just how it was. It was natural for me.
Yeah.
And it just made the most sense because that's what I wanted to play in a band. And then like further down the road, I played bass in a band and stuff too. So we'll get there when we get there. Kind of a thing.
Yeah, for sure.
But guitar was my first real instrument that I played, I should say. I wanted to play drums initially.
Yeah.
And I remember my mom, I think, had like drum lessons set up for me and everything, and I think I was just kind of a shithead and just was like, nah. I got like too anxious about it and just didn't do it, and didn't care to touch an instrument for another like probably 6 years.
God, I know a lot of people I've talked to that are guitar players, and we'll get to them, in future episodes. But I know a lot of people I've talked to that are like, I wanted to play drums, but I ended up going guitar.
The main reason was definitely like volume.
Yeah, no, and that's exactly why I ended up doing what I do. But and now that's why it's cool just to program my drums in when I do stuff. But yeah, a lot of people are like, I wanted to play drums, but I went to guitar. But then I run into a lot of drummers that are like, like I play drums and I play guitar.
Yeah.
Because drums was their first instrument.
Right.
And I'm just like, oh, I'm so jealous. Like all these little mini Joey Jordisons,
I think I would have been way better if I learned drums first. I think I would have like made more progress quicker.
Yeah.
But either way, like it still worked out for me. Obviously, it made its mark on me as a person, because when I was born, like my godfather gave me a guitar.
Nice.
Like an acoustic. I don't even remember what kind it is. It's at home.
I was just about to ask what model.
I want to say it's a Martin or something. I cannot remember what it is. It's sitting at home on a rack.
So you still have it?
Oh yeah, I've never gotten rid of it. Like I can't get rid of that. It's special. Like I don't play it, but it's there.
That's so
like
cool.
I have it, and so he kind of like planted that seed, and I just didn't really take it and run with it until I got older.
That's awesome. He's a time traveler. It's actually Nabasi Concepts.
Dude, it actually is. Yeah, I went to the future and I said, "Hand it over, young man," and he did.
That's awesome.
And it doesn't look anything like what you would normally see from him, but it's because it's pretty underground.
No, but shout out to God Dad.
Dude, straight up, straight up.
All the dads
are
just checking off like all those lists for shaping good musicians. Hell yeah.
I was pretty lucky that I kind of had that.
That's really cool, dude. That's really cool. So then, gear wise, I got written down here. You're a gearhead. You got film, photos. You're like computers. Oh God, sorry about that. Computers, and then all that other stuff. Did that tie into like your passion for guitars? Like,
yeah. Hello there.
Wow.
Turned it on.
I can redo that if we want to, but I'll just not touch the mic anymore.
No more touching the mic.
Yeah,
so
sorry.
Yeah, everything kind of tied in together. So in school, like I was very much I love video games, and I still do.
Yeah.
But I love video games. I like computers. I like electronic stuff. I like pictures and video, and like I was obsessed with watching music videos growing up. Mm. That was like I had to watch music videos because I had to see what they were doing, and I wanted to know what the band looked like.
Yeah.
And so it was computers into guitar, and then that's when I was like, oh, okay, well I could probably like learn how to at least like demo things a little bit. And then it just kind of spiraled downhill, and going to local shows and stuff, I saw these guys with cameras, and I was like, oh, well, that's sick. Like, I want to be able to do that because it's cool. And I took photography classes in high school and stuff because my art teacher, like I miss him dearly. He's super cool.
Yeah.
He moved away a while ago and stopped teaching and stuff, but he played in bands and stuff. He's a really good guitar player. He's very good at art. Mm-hmm. And he did photography, so he was teaching me like the photography classes and stuff, and I was taking it really serious, and like we were using iPads because that's like what our school had.
You got like, such a leg up than what I've got.
It's so funny that we were like learning on iPads, and I was like, well, my phone takes better pictures than this iPad. And
yes.
It was like this shitty like Moto E something, but the pictures were cool.
Yeah.
And so it just kind of like stemmed from there, and I was seeing all these guys at local shows doing it, and I was like, that's really cool. I want to be able to do it like when I'm not playing. Mm-hmm. And so I just kind of picked it up, and it took me a while to like really understand what I was doing, or like how I wanted my stuff to look and be, and then it just kind of fell into place, and I figured it out. And so I've been doing it, dude, I don't even remember how long now, since probably 2017.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah.
I've been doing like photo stuff.
I think right around when I started noticing you doing that too, actually.
Because I remember just buying some Nikon on like Craigslist, mm-hmm. or it might have been a pawn shop, I can't remember, and used that for a while, and then I was like,
pawn shop.
I do too. I miss it a lot. That's where I got deals.
Yeah.
Like I still have my guitar cab from there because I got just a stupid deal on it.
I've still got my guitar from there.
Yeah, see, it's great.
Yeah.
But I had that camera, and then I like progressively upgraded as I could and could like justify doing it, and until I got to what I have now, and I've gotten to like shoot a lot of really cool shows and travel for it and stuff too, and done a few music videos now, and it's really cool. So it all kind of like tied together for like the love of music and documenting those things, and I just like to do it.
We should throw like a link to all your work at some point, because I'm sure you're not done with your work either.
Oh no, not at all.
You've got some cool projects that you've done already.
Yeah. So for anyone that doesn't know, my business name is Stick Tight Visuals.
Okay.
Which is our sponsor. Which is our sponsor. I'm paying for everything. I bought this basement.
And that's another thing too that we should probably mention is that like all of this has been just DIY. You know?
Everything was just, we were like, okay, we've got the stuff, or we're gonna go find it.
Yeah, this mic arm was literally like probably like 4 hours before I got here.
Yeah, roughly. Yeah.
So it's just been. I think that's all the extra charm that this scene has is the DIY.
Yeah,
of it. So.
Everyone's done something to kind of like learn how to do something to help, and mine was photography and video.
Not to derail your
not
question or anything, but yeah. So I mean, did you just accumulate, like locally all your extra stuff?
It was pretty much just went to shows. Yeah. Found people that needed stuff.
Networking is probably really good on that too.
When touring bands would come through, I would just take pictures. That's sick. Then I would go up to them after their set and like talk to them for a minute and be like, okay, well, tonight or tomorrow I'm gonna send a link to your band page with a Google Drive folder full of pictures from tonight. Do whatever you want with them.
Hell yeah.
And that was really just putting myself out there too, because I needed to have my name go out there, and the more I was doing it, the more I was like, okay, like I could go somewhere with this.
Did you have a lot of bands that were like actually positive on that?
Yeah, I had a handful of bands like take those pictures and use them right away.
Yeah.
And they appreciated it, and it was cool, and like that made me feel good. I was like, oh, okay, like I don't suck at this. It's fine. Like I do a good job, and that's cool. Like there's so much more for me to learn and obviously do and grow. Like that doesn't end. Mm-hmm. But it was nice to see like, okay, they appreciated it and they used it. And some of them like still do. Like I'd given countless folders of images.
You still stay in contact with them.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, and like one of the main groups that I work with is Rig Time from here. I've done all kinds of stuff for them. We've done, I think, 3 music videos together. I think it's 3. Something like that.
What's the last one you did?
Last one we did was Clean and Backstab, and then I helped with Garbage. Okay. So 3 different guys actually filmed Garbage. Mm-hmm. So I was fortunate enough to be one of them standing on a ladder and just catching everything. But they're the ones that have like really helped me grow and kind of push myself a little more. Brian specifically.
I mean, when I think of influence, like Rig Time, Rebecca and Brian are just the hardest working damn people I've ever seen.
They're at the forefront of everything, and if it weren't for them, like we wouldn't have anything we have right now.
I wouldn't have felt compelled to contact you and say, hey, I want to do this podcast. You're one of the only people that I can think of wanting to do this with. Yeah. Let's do this.
Yeah. So those two are very much like the main reason I continue to do anything, and I'm fortunate enough to be in 2 bands with Brian, which is a lot of fun because
which is another episode down the road. How many bands is Brian in
actively, and how many has he been in prior?
Right, exactly. So going back to, like you're getting a hold of these bands after the show saying, hey, I took pictures, and, like majority of your responses were probably positive. Did you have, and you don't have to name names. I'm not encouraging you to name names.
No, that's fine.
Has there ever been a negative, like absolute shitbag like experience?
No.
Good.
Which I think is purely because I'm not asking for money.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't at that time. I'm at a point now where like I can justify it. But at that time, I wasn't asking for anything. I just said, here's pictures, do whatever you want with them.
That's so sick.
If it goes nowhere, it goes nowhere. At least I did it, and I know that I liked what I gave you. Mm-hmm. And that's it. And it's happened. I've had plenty of them where they just never went anywhere. And the only place it got posted was by me. Yeah. Which is totally fine, because I don't expect these people to like use what I gave them.
Or you get the bands that, like they start a band, they get a show, you show up and take pictures, and then 3 weeks later they're not a band anymore.
Yeah, and that's happened too.
So
that's definitely happened.
but the cool thing is, like, I think, as far as the photography part of it is, you were the one that captured this moment.
Yeah, it's documenting that stuff, because like
that.
all the people that we had around doing photos, at least for a little while, like they all kind of left and they went, they moved for various reasons, or they just stopped doing it, or whatever the case is. So it finally kind of like boiled down to I'm like the main option in at least our area for this kind of a thing right now, which is really cool because like it's special. There's other people doing it too, but like I feel like I've been able to cover a lot more because I had the opportunity for a while where I could. And I'm so busy now anymore too, where it's a little harder for me to get out.
I was gonna say you've got a really busy family life going on, but you're still pulling some really cool shit off.
Yeah, if I didn't keep myself busy with like creative things, I'd probably lose my mind.
That's me too.
I would 100% lose my mind. So as busy as I am with like work and family stuff and whatnot, it's nice to have an outlet like this and the bands that I'm in and doing photo video stuff. I've got to be busy or else I'm gonna freak out.
Yeah, I do those. I like being busy, but I get those nice little friendly reminders right around bedtime from my fiance, like, "Hey, you got to go to bed." Like, I do need to go to bed. Too. You're right. So.
Like, she'll be like, "Can you come to bed? What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Oh, hold on."
Yeah.
And then I'm like, "Oh my God, it's 11 o'clock. Like, I should go
yeah,
to bed.
No,
I work at 5.
I'm just, and that's the thing too. Like, I need those reminders of like, oh, I am a human. Like, because in my 20s, like I was doing very similar stuff to you, but when I was in college, like I was staying up till like 3-4 in the morning working on a project. So
it was bad, and it wasn't even working on projects. I was just playing video games, being a scumbag.
And then I go to school cranky, and I was like, I don't even want to do this. And then I'd start slipping into my other classes, and then on the way back home, I'd take it on myself and just order the worst fast food or something.
Oh, bless.
Yeah, it was Jack in the Box was a bad place.
Never had Jack in the Box, and I
you're
don't
lucky.
think I've heard anything positive
you
about it.
You are very lucky to not
unfortunate.
have ever gone to Jack in the Box.
Now let me tell you, I love food.
we should do at some point a tier list for like fast food restaurants.
I would love to,
because I'll do pre-vegan Clay for the fast food tier list, because I remember a lot of that shit.
We could do pre-vegan and current vegan.
Oh yeah,
there's plenty of fast food.
There are options,
vegan options now.
There are options, but the horror stories are definitely pre-vegan.
Like of some of them.
Yeah, like we can get to that at some point.
Yeah,
but,
we'll get there.
We already talked to, like, I had musical influences written down, but like we've already talked about that like a little bit. Like, so you got Simple Plan, Metallica, like who are like what is it, like the big four?
Yeah.
Like, if you could attribute 4 big bands, because like that's the
big bands,
because that's the number, right? Like,
it's
Metallica, Megadeth, Slayer, and Anthrax.
It's a little all over the place for me if we're gonna go that way.
Yeah, who's your big 4?
It was Metallica for sure.
Okay.
Metallica. I'd say Beartooth was a really influential band for me.
Yeah.
Their like first 2 releases came at a time where I was like struggling a lot mentally and just having a bad time, and those were 2 things that really helped me out.
God, what's that first album called?
There was the EP Sick, and then the record Disgusting.
Yeah, Sick was that was ridiculous.
That's
that was
like
so
one of the
good.
coolest things I've ever heard, and it came to me at like the right time, and that's what really pushed me into more of like the punk hardcore scene was that EP. And those were on repeat all the time in my CD player. Like I had a boombox.
I wore mine out.
Oh yeah, I wore mine out.
Mine's completely worn out.
They're shot. They're done for. So Beartooth, Metallica. I would put Simple Plan up there too.
Okay.
I don't play like pop punk anything. I love that kind of music. Don't get me wrong. I love like pop punk and alt rock and like anything like that. But like that was the band that really got me into music.
Yeah.
And then I'd probably put Counterparts up there for me as well. And that being like kind of the lyricism and stuff, just because like I think Brendan writes really cool lyrics. Like the way he writes is cool.
Right.
But if we're talking like the bands that kind of pushed me to do like actually go play, it was all local bands.
Oh, really?
100% that pushed me to go play.
No shit.
And it's because my dad took me to like the first concert I went to that wasn't like Life Fest or anything.
Yeah.
Was our local venue that we had at the time, and it was In Solace, who's not a band anymore, but they're from La Crosse, and then Phineas and Silent Planet.
Phineas is sick, dude.
Phineas is such a cool band. I saw them like countless times at Life Fest, and I met them and everything, and then I was like, they're coming to La Crosse. Like, my dad told me, and I was like, we gotta go.
Yeah.
And then that's when I discovered Silent Planet and like In Solace and stuff.
I went with In Solace to a Silent Planet show one time, and so like I didn't even know who Silent Planet was, and then when they started playing, I was like, oh, this is big.
This is big.
This is big.
Yeah, it was very much like the local bands, because it was In Solace, and then like talking to Cody and just being like welcomed into everything.
That dude,
like Cody's the first person I met in the scene, and like still friends to this day with. And then after that, I like fell in love even more, and I kept just any show that popped up that even had a band that sounded interesting, I was going. Didn't care. I was like, cool, $20, $15. Like, I'll go to these shows and just discover stuff.
I've had one. I'd have to flip through the flyers that I have kind of just in my basement, and like even I have them saved on my phone too. But like, there are bands like the name sounds sick. I'll go to this. So
right, that was that's what got me, was like a cool flyer and a cool name. Yeah. All right, I'm there.
It's the same thing when I used to pick out CDs when I was a kid too. Like if the artwork was awesome.
I still do that.
Yeah.
I do that with records. So we'll go to like record stores in the cities and stuff, and I'll find like just the bin of like cheap stuff.
Yeah.
Like specifically like 7 inches and whatnot. And I'll just be like, okay, if it's $5 or less and it looks sick or the name is cool, I'll get it and we'll just find out what it is. I won't look it up. I won't play it on Spotify. I will wait till I get home and put it on the record player and find out if it sucks or not. And I found some cool stuff. Yeah. Like I've definitely found a couple things. I found a lot of duds.
That was my first experience with like Chimera. Like I didn't know who Chimera was, but I went to the CD store. Yeah, because that's what they're all called. No, what was it? It was
CD store.
It was an FYE, then it was a Blockbuster, or vice versa. Like they could never like keep track of what they were. But I go to the metal section, and I'm like, I listen to metal, like, so I'm gonna start flipping through, and I see this artwork. I'm like, this looks gnarly, and I like take it home, never listened to it, and unwrapped it, and I was like, well, now I love this band. So another influence, real quick, before we move on. With local things too, but then I have a funny story about another band that I discovered in a weird way. My Slayer story, if you will. We'll get to that in a second. I'm stoked for that.
Another band, and you and I talked about this off air and stuff, but I feel like we got to talk about it. Was your band at the time? American Zero was super influential to me.
Dude, that's sick.
I remember messaging the band page and being like, how can I buy your CD?
Dude, hell yeah.
I remember specifically walking up to you, because I was like, I think that guy's in that band. I'm pretty sure. And I walked up to you, and you were like sitting at the bench or whatever, and you were just like doing your thing. Yeah. And I was like, hey man, I think I messaged your band about buying a CD, and you're like, go talk to Jimmy.
yeah, probably.
And I was like, who's that?
Oh, yeah.
And then you're like, just go, guy with the dreads and all the tattoos. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. And like, I walk outside, and he's like, yeah, man, like $5. And like, as I told you off air and sent you a video, I found that CD the other day.
That is such a good, like I still have that copy. I have the, wait, do you have the EP or the full length? Because like there's the octopus looking cover.
It's not that one. It's the snake, Love Story one.
Okay, that one's sick. My favorite was the Awake Aware. Full length, which I still have.
I never got a copy of it, but
I have guitar picks on
streaming and we had it.
Yeah.
And I think I YouTubed MP3.
You can YouTube it. It's there on YouTube.
It's still out there.
A couple times. But yeah, my awkwardness is what I have to apologize a lot for with people in the scene, because I have this automatic like everyone hates me mentality that I really just got to get over. You know, because
everybody kind of has that. So I know what you mean.
And I've got that, like, you know, my story about how I got to La Crosse isn't like pleasant, especially like the after part of it. So that, you know, there's reasons why I think people hate me. But people are like, no, like everything's fine.
You guys, I fucking hate this.
I mean, when I actually remember like verbatim, like this podcast is gonna be the downfall of our friendship. Like that's the goal. Like,
yeah, the goal is at the end of the day, I'm gonna stab him. This is my confession. I'm gonna stab him and just leave him in his car.
And that is my absolute worst fear, is just getting stabbed. Like that's the worst thing that can happen to you. I think the worst thing that can happen to you as a person is you just get stabbed. You can die like a number of ways. Like if your parachute doesn't open, whatever. If you get shot, whatever. Stabbing, you're watching that shit go in your body.
Yeah, and that's terrifying. Now, here's what really scares me. If I wouldn't have discovered Slayer.
Yes, let's get to this. I'm stoked.
If I remember in high school, yeah, I think it was high school. I already kind of like knew who Slayer was and stuff. But this was like what cemented that I liked Slayer. We were like going to the local library because they were like, you should get a library card. And I'm like, books are stupid. I have an iPad. Not true. I liked reading. I still do. But I just had to be a shithead.
No.
And so we go and I'm like, these guys suck. I already have a library card. I'm going to look around. And I knew that our library had CDs and stuff. And I would still like burn CDs into my iTunes and everything because like I ain't paying for shit. I'm a bad man. And I was like, cool, how many can I get? And they were like, you can get 4. You can get 4 CDs and 2 books. And I was like, deal. I'll have them back in 3 hours.
That's a great deal.
Yeah, it was great. I didn't pay for a damn thing.
Yeah.
I cheated the system.
Yeah.
So I walked.
You were physical Napster.
And I was. Lars Ulrich, come find me. But like, don't. And I got Paramore, their self-titled album.
Yep.
I got, what was it? It was that, and I think I grabbed a My Chemical Romance album.
Okay.
Because I was like 9th grade. This band's edgy. But I didn't actually like them.
Right.
And then it was Anthrax.
Okay.
And I don't remember what Anthrax record it was. And
to be fair, I don't think a lot of people remember which Anthrax album they have. Like,
I think it was Among the Living. The only reason I say that is because that's like the album I always go back to. So I'm pretty sure it was Among the Living.
Like, I love Anthrax, but I can't tell you a single album's name. Like,
There's
I feel so bad, and I'm like the age that you should know that.
They've got like 1,000 records.
Yeah,
It's fine.
Yeah.
But so I got those, and then I saw Slayer. I saw Slayer's Rain and Blood, and I went, well, obviously I'm grabbing this.
Yeah.
And I remember I took them back to the school, and they were like, why didn't you get any books? And I was like, they had CDs. I didn't need the books. I can't listen to the pages. And I was like, that's not fucking Slayer.
We're using that title for something. I can't listen to the pages.
I can't listen to the pages.
Yeah.
And that's why I never learned how to read. And I took them home and I burnt it, and I walked right back to the library and said, here you go. And they're like, oh, you're done with them already? And I was like, yeah. They're like, you didn't burn these, did you? And I was like, no. And then I just left.
No.
Never went back. So I took all those CDs back. I burned them onto my computer, and I had them on my iPod.
Oh,
and it was sick. And that was my like Slayer awakening, was finding Rain and Blood at my local library.
So was it the title track that was like the turning point for you? What was the song that you're like, okay, I'm in?
I just turned it on, and like from the first note, I was like, this is it.
Just full album all the way through.
Yeah, I was like, this is scary. And like, this is so sick. And then that like furthered my love for that kind of music and got me even further down the path to like where I am musically now and what I like.
So between Metallica and Slayer, you're more thrashy than I am. Like, that's...
Yeah, and it definitely because of my dad.
That's so cool.
Definitely because of my dad. But then and I think that's why I still like so many of like writing thrashier sounding things. Like, I don't play in a thrash band by any means, but I like the thrashier sounding stuff.
But the respect is 1,000% there.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Like I feel you can kind of hear it in some of my playing, is like the thoughts there at least. There's a taste.
Recently have just started down picking every single note. Because,
oh, you mean you grew up?
Yeah, exactly. I grew up like alternate picking. That's garbage. So, I don't know what it is. Like, it's just between listening to Monuments and like just revisiting like old Metallica stuff, I'm like, yeah, just downpick everything now. So
Right, because it's sick and it sounds cool.
it sounds better. Like,
yeah, it does.
Like the intro that I wrote for this podcast, that's all downpicks. So
And it sounds fucking sick.
and I did a take where it was alternate picking. It sucked.
Yeah?
It sucked so bad.
It was like a different song.
Yeah.
Excuse my yawning.
No, that happens.
Been up since like
I'm
4:30.
a very boring person to talk to.
Yeah, that's why I fucking hate this guy. But no, yeah. So that was my Slayer thing. I just had to put it in there before we got further along here.
So, the next question I got going on is, what is the song that you keep going back to, and is any of that like thrash influence like part of that? Like,
Are we just talking like in general? Like,
yeah, in
what's
general,
my,
like any
on repeat right
any
now?
song, like I don't like calling them guilty pleasures because I don't believe in guilty
Yeah,
pleasures.
I don't think there's like such thing as a guilty pleasure.
Yeah,
You just like
like-
what you like.
I will listen to like, oh god, like, who is that? I can picture
You're
the
going back and you're listening to Hoobastank.
yeah, exactly. Like,
Like that
maybe
kind
not
of thing.
like maybe not like the big I'm talking deep cut Hoobastank, you know? Like
Right.
I'll listen to, like, they're not a guilty pleasure, but like, yeah, I can listen to that and whatever. But for you, what's that?
I think, at least right now, like in my current rotation, because I just listen to kind of whatever. Like I'll hit my daily mix on Spotify and go, cool, like that's it. But lately it's been the song Thaw off the new End record, which if you haven't listened to, it's really cool. Very industrial, gross sounding.
Yeah.
It's really cool. I like it a lot. And then I'm just going to go with like the top 5 on repeat lately.
Yeah.
So it's that. I'd say probably Sugar Coated by Heart Attack Man. Probably Yes Way by Weekend Nachos. I'd put up there right now. Silent Wolf off the new Harm's Way record.
Jesus.
And then
You got some heavy shit.
yeah, and then
This is good.
total curveball here.
Yeah.
The Thrash Particle by Modern Baseball.
Nice.
So that's like kind of where things are at right now. And then I mentioned this off air too, but like I have to have my songs where it's like I can't be in a bad mood if I'm listening to
Yeah,
this.
dude, I love
So it's
these.
Mambo number 5
Yes.
at the top. Always Mambo number 5.
The one I couldn't think of at the time when I had my little brain fart earlier was Halsey. Like,
Don't get me started on Halsey.
okay, yeah, because
I'm a hater.
that's really weird. Like, not that you're a hater or anything, but I even questioned that too. My old boss, when I used to work at downtown, she goes, "What band would you be in if you could be in any band right now?" And without questioning, without stopping, I just said Halsey. And she goes,
That's such a funny response.
I wouldn't. She's like, you listen to such heavy music. Like, I would never expect. And she's not like, she doesn't listen to gent. She doesn't listen to hardcore. Like, I'm sure she is aware that they exist.
Like, yeah, like
But-
knows that that's a thing.
But, you know, like, she couldn't tell you like her favorite After the Burial riff, I'm sure. But like, to have her say like, I did not expect that answer to come out of you, was like, yeah,
Like kind of funny.
yeah. It was. I was like, why did I say that? And I was like, yeah, I kind of think I would, because I could play the music, and like that tour would be pretty fun to be on. But well, we could talk about the hater status later.
Yeah, well, we'll get down to it. It's just because I like being mean sometimes. I'm not a mean person, but I can be mean sometimes. And
you know,
it's funny.
as long as you're mean to someone outside of your league, that's
Oh
okay.
yeah, she deserves it from me. I mean,
like who's my like go-to punching bag? You know, like I've been trying to like be better about it, but God, I don't like. I mean, I can say any politician's name, and that's just the
that's
thing.
just a given. But
But
like,
I don't know. I could, I'll think of it at some point. We could revisit that.
yeah,
whatever.
It'll
but-
come back.
So, speaking about revisiting things, the best place you have ever toured or gone with, whether you were playing in a band or doing photography or whatever, like.
I kind of have a split answer, and one is just because of how much I like being there, and one is because like how good the show was.
Yeah.
My favorite place I've been was Vermont, just in general. Loved it. Met a couple really, really awesome people there that I still keep up with. So shout out The Path and Nick Grandchamp, the best man out there. Nick Grandchamp's such a sweetie. But no, so it's nice kind of still seeing what they're doing and stuff. But love Vermont. We played I think we played 2 shows in Vermont.
Okay.
In Burlington and Rutland. Both super fun. We had a really good time. I just like being there. It was just pleasant, and like I was just happy.
Yeah.
It just felt nice.
There's something in the air, something in the water.
I swear to God, there was.
Yeah.
Like, I swear, like you cross over into Vermont, and you're just like, oh.
When I see
pleasant.
pictures of Vermont, it just looks clean.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
They don't have billboards. Like people are just nice. At least the people we met were nice.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's like true, but
Isn't there like a teddy bear factory up there or something?
oh, I'm
too?
sure there is.
Like I don't know. It just
Ben and Jerry's.
okay. Oh,
So
dude,
we went to the
that
Ben
makes
and Jerry's
sense.
factory,
Okay,
which was really
so
cool.
the Ben and Jerry's is there.
Yeah.
Shout out to their non-dairies because I can eat them. Thank you so much.
I should just have their non-dairies because I will ruin a toilet.
They have expanded like a ton of their flavors. Like I think I just had fish food for the first time
Oh,
because like I can have fish food again.
Yeah.
And like Cherry Garcia, and I'm like, this is so cool. Like I like that.
Cherry Garcia.
I will destroy an entire pint of Ben and Jerry's. Americone Dream is my favorite. So
Incredible. I love ice cream.
because Stephen Colbert is a troll too.
It goes against everything my stomach believes in, which is it don't be tolerating that lactose. But that's for another time. But then on the other side of the coin, for like favorite show kind of a thing that we experienced on tour, this was with my old band Misadventures, which we should talk about a little bit.
I feel like a shitbag for not mentioning that earlier. Like
no, that's fine.
Questions about bands you've been in. So.
We can do that after this one. So
yeah,
this was with my old band Misadventures. This was like the last tour we got to do before the world kind of shut down and we went into hibernation and fizzled out. But we played in our friend Evan's basement in Knoxville.
Oh,
and this was one of the most fun shows I've ever played.
Yeah.
I'm talking, it was just like crazy from the start. It was such a like, every band was super sick. Everyone we met was so nice, like really welcoming. Like people were buying merch and talking to us. They liked our set.
Is this like a basement show?
Yeah, it was a basement.
Oh,
so
it's the best.
the layout of his place was like kind of crazy. You would like pull into his yard and get into the basement that way.
Yeah.
Because it was just right there. And at one point it started to rain.
Oh, no.
So everyone's coming inside tracking water and it's just like smooth cement floor. And people are like slipping, sliding. There's a dude like swinging a bat around.
What the
There's
hell?
like money on the ground for the one band. I can't remember what they were called. I think it was like, no, I'm not going to say because I'm going to butcher it. I don't remember what the band was, but they were nuts. They were so good. It was crazy. They're not a band anymore, but they were really good. And it was a really cool time. And that was just like one of the most insane, like, everyone was just going off for our silly little band.
Yeah.
And we've never been there and we haven't gone back, but like, it was really cool and we had a good time.
See, that's the shit I miss. So.
Yeah, it was crazy. Totally unexpected. Did not expect that kind of a reaction.
So, okay. And then, exact flip of the coin is your worst experience touring wise. Like, no, not experience maybe, but like, I have it written down as the worst place you've been to, like toured or
Worst
whatever.
place we've been to?
Yeah.
I'm only going to say this is the worst place we've been to purely because of how hot it was. We had a great time when we were there. It was great. It was super fun. But we were in Columbus, Georgia.
Okay.
Our AC in our van didn't work.
Oof.
It's middle of August in Georgia. It is so hot and just disgusting. It is so heavy. It's so humid. And we were playing this dude's house and we were like, oh, sick. He's going to have AC. This is going to be awesome.
And his AC is broken.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
Shit.
We roll up and he's like, yeah, guys, like, so this is the house. Like, here's the living room where you're going to play. Just so you know, my AC went out this morning. And we all went, no fucking way.
Sorry to predict that. That sucks.
Like, oh, sorry, guy. We got to go. But no, we stuck around, obviously. And it was a good time. But, like, it was just so hot. Like, even driving with the windows down, it didn't matter. It felt like you were, like, moving through just, like, a thick wave of gross.
Ugh.
Man.
So what you're saying is that's the best day that Digital Tour Bus could have shown up for an interview.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
was
We
the
all
best.
looked like we just stepped out of a swimming pool, and the van probably smelled like feet.
Hey guys, this is the worst day to do this, but here's where we were traveling.
We have so many air fresheners in here because we all smell. No, it was good otherwise, but like bad experience for the sake of how hot it was.
You know,
I'm a baby.
Compared to like a lot of other bands that have had like horror stories, that's probably the best. That's the best case scenario in a worst case that you could have.
The only other thing I could think of was at the end of a tour that got cut short, our exhaust was falling off. and we drove 12 hours home with exhaust just like hanging under the van, and we got to a point where we had to like stop and get like the metal wire and like crawl, like we had like Tristan crawl under the van and like wire it up and stuff and like hold it up, and then got home and got it repaired, and because we had a big tour coming, and that was a bad time. It was funny, but I was just annoyed because you had to hear it. It was kind of like bumpy the whole way home.
Oh man. Yeah, I've had repair stories, and that's not good.
No, I think everybody that's toured has a terrible vehicle story.
Jeez. So then, okay, I'm gonna go way back to the beginning of this like podcast questions. So you mentioned like first songs and first influences. Do you remember the first music video you ever saw?
I don't remember if it was the first one or not. I definitely had to have seen other ones before this, but the first one I can remember watching was the music video for I'm Just a Kid by Simple Plan. Okay. Because it had Tony Hawk in it. Oh, dude. That's the only reason I can remember that one right away. I probably saw something else before it, but I remember that one. And that like stuck out to me because I was like, oh, hell yeah, Tony Hawk and Simple Plan? I need to make a list and go back and watch all this. It was that. Or it might have been I'd Do Anything from Simple Plan because Blink-182 was just in the video. Yeah. Because I could be totally wrong about this, but I feel like Mark Hoppus was like managing them or something. That sounds right. I don't know if I'm right in thinking. I could be totally wrong, but like I know that they were all in it. Like a lot of those like early pop punk like bands. And I love that like everyone had that like, oh, we're gonna help each other out mentality. Yeah. Like, and I also had no fucking clue who Blink-182 was at the time. Seriously? I didn't have a clue. I was like, who are these random guys on this couch? That's so cool. In the video. And then like a couple years later, I was like, oh, Blink-182 is sick. Because a lot like, I mean, I'm gonna be showing my age when doing this, but yeah, it was kids that I went to school with, it was always like Blink first and then every pop punk band after. Yeah. But you, just like with Load, you know, like it was like, here's this first, and then you go this back. Existed before. You know? It's that gateway. That's so the cool. Rest. So that's what like Simple Plan was for me. That's awesome. So that like, those were the first ones that I can remember watching. Yeah, I remember being a poser in high school. I was a poser in high school because I listened to Dookie from Green Day when I wasn't listening to Kerplunk. Yeah, I mean, I was like, well, Kerplunk exists. You should be listening to that first. Like, dude, I didn't know Kerplunk existed. Right, like why would you have? Like, sorry, like I'll go down to the hole in the wall record store and hope it's there. You know, maybe. And then now Spotify doesn't exist. I mean, now, yeah, you can hear everything. Now it's like Spotify's sick and we got everything there. Yeah. Yeah. Like, I don't know, music's crazy that you can just kind of get it everywhere. The thing is, like, I think I had a struggle with them for like about a week or so because I couldn't find a specific song on Spotify. And I think it was, oh my God, I just had it. It was like off the Batman soundtrack or something like that because I really wanted to hear the Batman soundtrack. Oh, it was Mambo number 5. It was Mambo number 5 because the first 4 sucked. Yeah. Skip the first 4. Mambo just go right to 5. Mambo 4 is just like Mambo 2. So. And Mambo 3 is just like Mambo 2. They're all like Mambo 2 until you get to 5. So, like, is that as poppy as it gets for you? Like, oh, no. I definitely like... now, yeah. What's like, the like? Have you as you've gotten older? Like, have you gotten more into like pop music too, or like absolutely? Yeah, the tastes have expanded a little bit. It was like pop and rock stuff first, and then it went metal elitist, like heavy music only. You're a poser if you listen to anything like on the radio. Yeah. And then I grew up, and I was like, oh, like Ariana Grande's sick. Like her latest 2 records are really good. I like them a lot. The like most recent Carly Rae Jepsen album's really good. Yeah. I like Bruno Mars a lot and Anderson .Paak. I like their project together, Silk Sonic. That's like one of my favorite records. Dude, when that came out, like Tristan and I were like freaking out over it. Yeah, we were like, this is so good. And then they waited a year to give us a record. Oh my gosh. And so like I like all that kinds of stuff. And cool. Like, I still love Matchbox 20. Dude, like I like anything like that. I'm still a fan of. They will pop up on a playlist at work sometimes, and I'm just like, yeah, this guy was on It's Always Sunny. Like, this is actually which sick. Is crazy. That was, dude. Okay, when that happened, I'm like, it's Sinbad and Rob Thomas. Rob Thomas is actually like a monster. Like, that's cool. I remember the first time I watched that, and I went, "There's no way that's not Rob Thomas," but it was. Yeah, I made a status like, oh god, 10, 12 years ago, and
I don't know, maybe this is like the dawning of my troll era, but I made a status about like, remember when Rob Thomas was in a death metal band? And there were people that commented were like, what, really? And I just never responded because I was like, I'll let him think it's true.
Yeah, let him just let him figure it out. He'll
because
find out.
there was someone that like, it wasn't Ed Sheeran because that's very recent, but it was like a while ago. Like, oh, this dude's actually into like really, really heavy music, but he plays pop. Like,
That's the case with a lot of pop guys, though.
Nelly Furtado was a huge Deftones fan,
which is so sick.
I was like, and I found that out in like 1999, and I was in ninth grade or something, and I was like, I love Nelly Furtado already as it was, but like, okay, now I really love Nelly Furtado because she's a Deftones fan,
and that's what mattered for
that's all that it had to happen. That's all that happened. So
it's so crazy.
Hell yeah,
it's so crazy how it all like links together and stuff.
You know, I like the whole idea of just like I'll listen to whatever the hell I want to listen to now at this point. You know,
I'll listen to whatever the hell I want.
Exactly.
All right. If it's after 10 p.m., you can listen to whatever the hell you want.
That's the rules.
That is the rule, but only when you're at the haunted house.
My old radio station played like the darker stuff after 10 p.m. and I had a hard time falling asleep.
They were playing that scary music.
So, scary music to me was like they did like Chemical Brothers, like the Daft Punk, Nine Inch Nails stuff that you couldn't hear like during the day. Like I think they played like Wish and Pinion and
they actually played the non-radio edit version of Down with the Sickness.
Oh my god!
So you heard him screaming about his mom.
Screaming about his mom. That is. Oh,
and you went to bed with that.
We'll get to that at some point too. But so you've been a part of the scene for a little bit of a while now. Yeah. So you've been a part of the scene for a bit now. How many bands have you been in?
I've been in, let's see, Misadventures, Caught One, Spread Thin. I did play in a pop punk band for literally a show, and then it died. I don't remember what we called it. But that guy, he plays in a really sick band now called Canty Sweet, and they're more of like a rock band now. They're not like a pop.
Where are
punk
they
band.
based out of?
La Crosse.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They're from the area here. They're all fun guys. They're really good.
Which is why I made that status the other day on my Facebook about like if you have a band, if you're in it, post it in the comments so I can follow it because I am super fucking bad at like liking bands pages, especially when they send me the invite. It'll just get lost in like my notifications.
Yeah, because
it's
never accurate. But they're pretty.
Do they have a page?
Yeah, they've got a page.
Okay.
I think I don't know if they're done with it yet. But they were recording an album recently.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so Tristan and I played in this band with him. So whatever that was called, it was some pop punk thing. Literally did one show, nothing ever again.
Yeah. So Misadventures, Caught One, Spread Thin,
which is Spread Thin and Caught One are current.
Okay.
I'd consider Caught One current still because I'm sure we'll do something again.
I love those bands because you can, if you want to revisit something and just change stuff. I love that you don't have to like be on a hiatus.
Right.
It's just
there, and
whenever
then
you want.
Can go back to it because like Caught One is Brian and Tristan, and then I just play.
Yeah.
And I like just doing that because it's just I can just have fun.
So then, is there any like talks about doing new stuff with Caught One then?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I don't know. I want to do another show at least because it's fun. Because the last show we ended up doing as a 3-piece, and it turned out really cool. We were all like, this didn't suck like we thought it would.
Is 3-piece kind of like where that stays? Or
I think, we've talked about it. I think that's kind of what's going to happen. I could be totally wrong, maybe not, but that's at least what worked out for the last show, and we all actually felt good about it.
And I mentioned this off air, but yeah, I almost wore my Caught One long sleeve.
The Caught One long sleeve is one of the coolest pieces of merch.
First time I laid eyes on that piece of merch, I immediately just messaged Brian. I was like, I need one. I need one right now. Like I was dead set on getting one. So.
Dude, I
think
that's
Rebecca,
one of my favorite shirts.
I think Rebecca dropped it off literally that like same day.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, it was so cool.
Yeah, that one, I'm sure something will happen again down the road.
Tristan's on drums. Where are you and Brian? Like, are you bass or guitar?
I do bass and Caught One.
Okay.
And then Brian was just vocals, but then for that show as a 3-piece, he took on guitar as well.
Okay.
And it was sick. It was gnarly. I think we practiced only one time.
Yeah.
Before that show as well, and we were like, that went a lot better than we thought. We could do it. And then we did it. And it was sick. And then, so Misadventures is like my very first band. That was the first thing I ever played in. That's what like took me on tour and got me to go places and like become a much better musician and play better music than that band was.
So if you could do for fans of like Misadventures, what's the closest thing? Man,
I'm trying to think. Like, Misadventures was very metalcore, wannabe hardcore. Like, I kind of had like a thrashy riff in one of the songs on the last release.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't even know. It's been a little while since I've listened to it. I'm gonna be so real. I don't know anymore.
No, that's fair.
Because we did 2 EPs with that band, and the first one we deleted from existence because it just kind of sucked.
No way.
Which funny story. So we initially recorded the first EP with Brian Fleming.
Mm-hmm.
Awful. None of us knew what we were doing. No one was on the same page. The only person that was even kind of good was Tristan. And like, I mean, I shouldn't say kind of good. He's great. He's really good at drums and being dumb.
This is the Tristan call-out episode.
Yeah, this is a Tristan call-out episode. Tristan, I hate you and your big stupid eyes. You should have been here today.
He canceled on us.
Yeah, he canceled. But it was that, and like, just no one knew what was going on.
Yeah.
And it sucked. And Brian gave me a copy of the recording on CD. Mm-hmm. And it said something along the lines of Misadventure's first god-awful piece of shit something EP for no one but the band to listen to for growth and practice purposes. Something like that.
Was that written on the CD, or did you put it on a piece of paper?
No, it was written on the CD, on the physical CD, in Sharpie.
So that CD probably doesn't ever exist anymore.
I think it's in my car.
Okay.
I kept it around because I have to like remember where, like, how awful I was at one point.
Looking at your growth is incredible.
Yeah, because, well, that was bad. It was really bad. And we knew it was bad.
Dude, my first band, like, you know, so was Misadventures your first band?
Yeah, very first.
Okay,
like,
so yeah.
I started learning guitar and then said, hey, I'm going to make a band.
You had a leg up on me, at least. So you actually had, like, you know, a solid foundation, and, like, you had a recording. My first band took forever to like get their shit figured out.
It took us a while too, though. It wasn't like a quick process.
Yeah, and this is like 2002, 2001. It was ridiculous. So.
Yeah. So we did end up re-recording that EP. Though,
okay.
When we were slightly better.
I was gonna say, it sounds
like,
better, and
yeah. I mean, it's not like the best sounding thing by any means, but the guy we did it with is super sweet. He did a really great job working with us, and like, we sucked, and he took time to make sure that he made it sound as good as it could for how bad we were and what we had. We recorded in this dude's garage in November of... Dude, I don't even know what year it was. 2016? 2017? Okay. Probably 2017.
Yeah.
And we stayed in a really disgusting motel. We were in Merrill. I don't even remember how far it is from here.
Yeah, I've heard that name before.
It's a little place. It's not nice.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of near Wausau.
Okay.
Like somewhere in that area.
That's why it sounds familiar. That's okay. That makes sense.
And yeah, we recorded in his garage in November. It's freezing cold. The only way we kept the garage warm was with like a propane tank heater.
Oof.
And there's no way that was good for anybody in there. And I think we did 2 or 3 days of recording. I can't remember now. Mm-hmm. And we put that out, and it was out for a while. Mm-hmm. And we took it down because we all were just like, this sucks, and what we have coming out is way better.
I was just about to say, like, is that something that someone could YouTube, or?
I think I took it off. So it's gone. I think it's gone. Unless you have a CD. If anybody has a CD still, and you upload it, just know I hate you, and that's fine. You can do it, but I'm gonna forever hate you. But I'll get over it.
We can sue you, and you're no longer invited to the Patreon.
Yeah, you're no longer invited to anything. You don't even get to come to my birthday. I think I still have a copy somewhere around here. It meant a lot to me because it was the first like work of music I ever created. Mm-hmm. It wasn't good by any means, but it was cool. It was the stepping stone. And then after that, we spent we played a lot of shows, and we did some tours and stuff, like just little things. Mm-hmm. But we just spent a lot of time trying to write better music and like figure out what the hell we were doing.
Where's the furthest you guys toured?
It was with Rig Time out east. Okay. And down south.
Okay,
so it was
down.
like, I think it was like 2.5 weeks or something.
My guess would have been Vermont, but if you guys went south, then
it was
you definitely...
We went because we were in like a weird transitional phase of like members and stuff, so we picked up a vocalist for that tour specifically who lived in Ohio.
Yeah.
So we started our tour by going to Ohio and practicing with him, and then going to Indiana and like worked our way up to New York, and then like just kept kind of going down. And I think Georgia was technically the furthest south that we played.
Okay.
And then just came back up through the Midwest and ended in Ohio because we played a fest.
Yeah.
So we got to do a lot of cool stuff with Misadventures, that's for sure. It took us a lot of places, and it was really crazy because that was our first like real experience.
Yeah, you gotta appreciate that stuff. That's
It
really
was, dude, it was nuts because I was like, oh, my silly little band I started in high school took me to Niagara Falls.
Yeah.
And like, this is cool. And I ate cookouts so much while we were out.
And that was mostly during like the summer and.
Yeah, it was all
So
like
that's-
August.
that was the
I
hot
think.
s-
That was the when we were in Georgia for the really hot time.
Oof.
And then after that, we finished recording what would be our final release, which is still out.
Okay.
It should be.
So people want to listen to it, they can.
Yeah, it's Worn Out by Misadventures, and I still think like it's cool. I haven't listened to it in a while, but I think it's cool, and I'm proud of it. I mean, I wouldn't play anything like that anymore.
Do you still remember any of those riffs?
Like 2 of them, I think.
Okay.
I think because one of them was like a little bit of like I wanted to do something thrashy, and this was like the only way I was going to get it out. And then the other one was just like really just
Just ignorant riff.
yeah, just kind of ignorant.
Yeah.
And it was cool.
Or
And
whatever the kids call it these days.
yeah, whatever they call it these days, these silly little people out here. But and then we ended up having the guy who did the tour with us, Christian Backscheider, I think is how you pronounce his last name. My good buddy. I love Christian. He's a sweetheart, and he's an incredible vocalist.
Yeah.
Like he's what made that EP, and so did Tristan with the drums, but like Christian did a really, really good job.
Nice.
And he's in some cool bands right now.
That was my next follow-up.
Which I feel like a total tool because I can't remember the name, so give me a second. But I'm pretty sure I know what it's called, but I have to be sure because I don't want to say it wrong.
No,
because I want people to go listen to it because they deserve it.
And we want to have him on at some point.
Yeah, I'm sure he would do it too. He's such a nice guy.
Yeah.
He ended up joining us then because of that tour, and we were like, okay, awesome.
So how does that work with you guys? If you're all the way in La Crosse and he's in Indiana, you said?
He was in Cincinnati.
Cincinnati, Ohio.
His
Okay.
band's name is Hostile Vision.
Okay. Hostile Vision. Shout out
And
to
he used to be in
Hostile
the
Vision.
band Cold Case. So you can still find Cold Case on stuff.
That is such a sick name for a
Yeah,
band.
they were really
The
good.
more you think about it, oh my god, why couldn't I have named a band
Dude,
like
they
that?
were really good too.
That's
They
such
were
a
really
good
cool.
fucking name.
Yeah, he recorded his stuff there with a buddy of his, and we actually filmed a music video. We did this all during like lockdown too. We had all the instrumental stuff done for quite a while, and then and we recorded that with Cody, and then Christian did his vocals back home in Cincinnati, and then just sent them off to Cody, and then we filmed the music video for the lead single off of it called Worn Out, and Christian's part in the video was filmed to look like it was filmed where we filmed our parts.
Yeah.
And because we were also like transitioning another member at this point,
Yep.
Brian was the bassist in the video because we needed somebody to take that role. So we had Brian throw his hood up and just be a little silly.
Get clever.
Yeah, it worked. It looked cool. The video's sick. Brian did a really good job.
Yeah.
And I still think it's neat. I'm pretty proud of it. I mean, like I said, it's not anything I'd play anymore, but I thought it was cool. I enjoyed it a lot.
That's awesome.
I'm thankful it's over.
Yeah.
It 100%, like the tail end of it leading into Spread Thin was like, I was burnt out on music.
Yeah.
Tristan was over with the band. Every member lived hours away from me because it was 2 guys in Ohio, 1 guy in the Quad Cities.
Yeah.
Was just over it and just kind of fizzled out and said, whatever. I didn't touch an instrument for like 9 months.
Yeah.
And then one day I like got the itch and I was like, okay, I need to do something again. And I for the longest time wanted the band to be called Spread Thin. When like Misadventures was going to rebrand, I wanted it to be called Spread Thin.
Yeah.
And they were like, no, we're going to go with this.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, whatever, I'll get over it. One day I'll find an outlet for that. And I wanted to be called Spread Thin because like one of my favorite like regional bands was Narrow Hearts.
Oh,
and my
okay.
favorite song from them is Spread Thin.
Oh,
so that's where the
nice.
name came from for me, because
Dude.
like, I just like that song and I like that band a lot.
Narrow Hearts shows went hard.
They were like one of the first like
Damn.
really sick hardcore bands I saw.
Yeah.
And yeah, I love that song and that whole record.
Okay. So we
that's
got
where
the
that
name
came from.
We got the name origin for Spread Thin.
Yeah.
What was the name origin for Misadventures then?
Dude, I'm gonna be real. I don't remember.
That was
it
just
had some really shitty, cringy name before it.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you okay saying what it is?
I don't remember
Or
what
if
it
you
was.
remember what
Like,
it
I don't
is.
remember exactly what it was, and I just don't want to say it because it was really cringy and like I want to like gag at the thought of it.
It's Fred. The band's name was Fred.
That'd be better than what it was. And then yeah, it just kind of fell into Misadventures, but none of us were like happy with the name. But
Yeah.
we had done so much that it was kind of like a dumb idea to rebrand it when we initially wanted to,
Yeah.
or like rename it, I should say. And then we just
Yeah, because my story about how you guys got Misadventures as your name was literally just like, oh, they just watched a bunch of Flapjack episodes.
which I love that show. By the way.
That's a great show.
Yeah, we're gonna go with that's how it happened.
Okay, that's how.
That's how that name came about.
Okay,
Because of that show.
you just sat around all just watching like Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack, going, "Yep, Misadventures.
Yep, this is it.
That's sick."
I think I was like the only one that like really like came up with the name, because I think it was before we had like any members or anything. Really, it was just me and one other guy.
Yeah.
Or maybe two other guys at that point. It was the origins and the people who were in it at like the beginning are not at all who were in it when the first release came out. It was like pretty drastically different.
Yeah, but you're like the original member.
Yeah, like
much.
Original founding member, and then one other guy was with it for the first release, and then stuff happened, whatever. But all the other guys that were in it, one guy was going to play drums, and then he was like, I'm going to go to school, like, I don't really want to do drums. And the other guy was like, I'm busy with my other band, like, I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
And then it was like, okay, well, joke's on you, I've been working with a different drummer for a little while, which was Tristan, because like he heard that I was doing stuff and talked to me at school, and I had gone to his house and we wrote a song together. And then bass player was just like with me, so it was like, all right, whatever, you can do it till we find somebody. And then we just kind of went that way. We're not gonna talk about that.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then I think technically Jared I would consider like an original guy too.
Okay.
Like from the like very first lineup, like technically Jared, but he was going to play drums at one point.
Really? No shit.
Yeah, him and we were the first people to buy a drum set at Coalition when they opened next to Dave's.
That is a name.
Yeah.
I haven't heard anyone drop Coalition in a while.
No, because it's just a skate shop again.
Yeah.
So we were the first people to pick up a drum set when they moved into the shop by Dave's.
Nice.
I think it's still on their Facebook, or at least mine.
Yeah.
It's on there. Which is funny because he never played drums.
That's awesome. That's hilarious.
And then he became the vocalist. So, but yeah, and then like Colin was kind of in between that stuff, and I was just like, oh, yeah, I'll play. Like, I want to. It's cool, and I still enjoy it a lot. And then Spread Thin came about because I needed to do something again, and I was finally like pushing myself to learn new things and sent stuff off to Tristan. I was like, you don't have to do this. I just like, can you help me at least make drums? Because like I don't know what I'm doing with that.
Yeah.
And then now here we are, and soon there will be music to put out. There's 3 songs out right now.
That was the follow-up was, when's the new Spread Thin stuff coming out?
Yeah, so my life has been super busy for the past almost year.
Yeah.
Just with work and stuff is just not a lot of time, and then my son was born, so
congrats, Dad.
Yeah, thank you. Which took up a lot of time, and like, dude, I'm very thankful for it because the kid's awesome. I love him.
I met Arlo. And,
Arlo is a silly goose.
What a little silly goose.
Dude, he's wild. He's funny, and he knows he's funny.
What a smile too. Like,
oh my god, yeah.
Wow,
he's such a ham. He's like, not just because he's my kid, but like he's my best friend because he's so funny.
Watch this podcast last 18 years,
and then he's gonna go, why were you talking about me like that?
He's gonna do that. Not only that, but he's gonna start one, and it's gonna have like 1,000 like followers on one day, and we'll still be at like 500.
Yeah, well, 250.
250. Even if we're lucky, 250.
Yeah, that's on a good day.
125 actually.
But yeah, so he came around and then just like got busy with that, and like I was working just crazy hours and stuff, and like never had time for anything, and our vocalist Ben lives in Eau Claire, and like,
Yeah.
Brian and Tristan are in other bands. They're all doing stuff, and so finally, very soon, we're all getting together to practice again and get back on the same page. And
Is there a mutual meetup spot? Do you guys go to Ben, or does Ben come to you guys?
Ben comes here,
Okay.
just because the practice space that we have is here.
Okay.
So we're gonna get together and kind of discuss, because this album, I can talk about it. I don't care. This album's been done for almost a year.
Wow.
It like recorded everything. There's a music video ready to go. It just, yeah, it's just making sure we're all on the same page and like put it out the right way.
Did you guys record with someone locally, or?
Yeah, with Brian.
Okay, it's Brian.
So Brian's our bass player.
Okay.
So Brian's in Rig Time, caught one. He was in Lasting Impression.
We're just gonna name every band ever. And
Yeah,
he's gonna be like,
he's basically been in everything you've ever heard.
Brian, for whatever reason, was in Eve 6.
He was in Eve 6, and he was also in The Offspring.
Like, he wrote Closing Time from Semisonic.
He did.
So,
And he'll admit it. He knows.
he actually probably loves those songs.
Oh, I'm sure he does. And
So he records you guys.
He recorded it.
Did that process take like what, a week, a couple days?
We
or?
did it in 3 days.
Oh, wow.
I think it's pretty streamlined. Brian's a machine.
So you guys had to know your shit, though. Like,
yeah, very much. I mean,
because he's always on tour. Like,
yeah, we like it was very practice hours a day, every day. And,
Nice.
like, make sure everything's perfect, and because we're gonna get it done as quick as we can.
Yeah.
But without like compromising things sounding good.
do you guys file share? Like, send stuff up to Ben and vice versa?
Yeah, kind of like if we
Okay.
need to, because he would always come down and we would record our rehearsals.
Yeah.
For practicing for the album, and then we would all go back home and practice with that. So like Ben would practice at home to the files, and I would, and Tristan would, and Brian would.
Right.
And then I would practice to just like rough click maps with the drums. So I was just like, cool, I'm ready.
Yeah.
And then yeah, we spent 3 days recording. Tristan pounded out drums perfectly, super fast, which was really awesome. And then went ahead and did guitar the next day. Got that done relatively quick too. Like, I felt really good about it.
Nice.
I'm pretty happy with how it all sounded.
What's
playing?
what's your main gear that you're using on there? What's your main guitar?
On that record,
Yeah.
it's fairly different from what I'm using right now, actually. There's only like 2 things that are probably the same from that record, just because different things, but almost the same sound.
Yeah.
I was using a PRS Archon
Oh, nice.
for the amp through a Marshall 412. I don't remember what speakers are in it, but I've had it forever. And then I was using 2 different guitars, because we were doing it on purpose for different sounds to layer. So I was using an LTD Viper, and with just like the stock pickups that were in it, and then a Harley Benton Explorer that also just had stock everything. And then
That must have felt awesome to play.
oh yeah, dude, they both sound really good.
Yeah.
I really like the Harley Benton one.
Yeah.
And that's like my main guitar still, is that Explorer.
Nice.
I got rid of that Viper to buy another Harley Benton. Or technically I bought 2.
Yeah.
Because I just liked them so much. And then pedal wise, it's pretty straightforward. Just an EQ, tuner, noise gate, and then I was using it's like an HM2 clone called the Left Hand Path. It's a rip on another band.
What's the who's the maker?
Some boutique dude.
Oh, okay.
I have no idea.
Okay.
I don't remember.
Those are sometimes the best pedals.
Brian like found it and was like, "This is really cool. Like,
Of course,
pretty customizable."
Of course,
and,
Brian found it.
Yeah.
Like he
we-
is the dude that researches that stuff. That's so cool.
And now I do because of him.
Yeah.
We were using that, and then just a Behringer like tube screamer, and that's how we got all the sounds for the record. So when the time finally comes that you can hear it, like,
Yeah.
it sounds fucking awesome.
Well,
It sounds huge.
I'm stoked for that release.
It's sick. I like it a lot. We all like it a lot.
Do you guys have like a release date? Thinking about it?
That's what we're gonna figure out.
That's okay.
So that's what's coming next, is figure that out.
We'll do the album reaction to that.
I can confidently say it's gonna be 2024. I just don't
That's
know when.
fine. Yeah.
Because it has to come out. It's really good, and I finally have time again.
What time of year did you guys record it?
We recorded right before my son was born.
Okay.
So we recorded in January.
Okay, so it's been
last year.
almost a year.
Yeah, we recorded. It was like mid-January, I think.
Okay.
And then we filmed a music video I want to say April of this year.
Nice.
Maybe it was May. I can't remember. It was shortly after my son was born that we did the music video. So it's just kind of been. I'm so busy.
Like, did you like film on local lacrosse, or is there a different?
Yeah, we filmed in our old venue.
Nice.
Filmed in there and just kind of like made it look how like the vision I had. I had a very like specific way I wanted it to be.
Yeah.
And we did it, and it turned out really good. Brian put it all together.
All in like one day.
Yeah, we did it pretty quick actually. I think we did it in like 4 hours.
That's so sick.
Not even. Like it was pretty quick. Like I'm talking. Probably did 8 takes.
Really?
All together.
That's not bad.
Yeah. We knew what we wanted. Like I knew what we were gonna get and what I wanted for stuff to go through. So
yeah,
we did it pretty fast. And it turned out awesome. So when that comes out too, I'm excited for people to see how it turned out because Brian made it look really good.
See, and that's why this is really cool, because then you get, our friends just released a new song and video, and then I'm sure Brian's got stuff he's working on. We've got this going on, and then Spread Thin still got some stuff coming out. We'll get to my portion of like my stuff, but spoiler alert, I'm working on some shit. So
yeah, it's about time.
It's been about 6-7 years now, and I think one of the big turning points was I may have inadvertently actually bought your 7-string.
Was it that Ibanez?
Yeah.
The fan fret?
Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely did.
Yeah,
you got it from Dave's?
I got it from Dave's.
Yeah, that was it.
And so it was really funny because I was like, oh, dude, Alex would love that I bought this guitar. And then I sent you a picture. And I sent you a picture of it, and you're like, oh, I think that's mine. Yeah,
that was 100% mine, for sure, because it was like days after I sold it there.
But yeah, it's going back to like, just releases and stuff. It's like, I'm stoked that Spread Thin is like still a thing. Me too,
because Spread Thin was a really important thing. It was like what made me kind of fall back in love with music. Like, playing music, I should say.
Yeah.
Because we've done a handful of shows, nothing crazy, but like the shows that we have done have all been really good. Like we played a lot of really good shows, and it's just been more fun. I think it really does boil down to like the people in the band too. Obviously, like Brian and Tristan and I have been friends for so long now.
Yeah.
And Ben and Brian have been friends for literally forever.
What a
and Ben was actually almost in Misadventures.
Really?
For that tour, and he couldn't because he was like job training in New York or something.
Yeah.
And then it came full circle when I had to ask him like 3 days before our first Spread Thin show to be like, hey, can you learn these songs in 3 days and come play? And he was like, yeah, why not?
Oh yeah, sure.
And then I was like, so you want to like be in the band, right?
Oh yeah, sure, yes. Why not, guy?
And then he was like, yeah. And so yeah, it's really cool. It's a much better atmosphere than like Misadventures was.
See, I think you need that relaxed kind of atmosphere sometimes.
It's relaxed, but also very like we're gonna get shit done when we do things.
That's cool.
And part of that is like having Brian, because Brian's like, we're gonna get shit done.
So if you could do like a for that one.
Yeah, for Spread Thin is a lot easier. Harm's Way.
Okay.
Gulch. Weekend Nachos.
Gulch.
Dude, I would even say like I Am.
Okay.
Because there's like a couple like kind of thrashy things in there. There's one song that's like it's kind of thrash.
It's pretty obvious.
Yeah, I mean you can tell that like I was listening to Slayer.
Yeah.
And Slayer. And like Nails, like anything in that range.
It all just comes full circle back to Slayer.
Yeah, it always does. It always finds a way. So anything in that range, like if you like that kind of stuff, like you're bound to find something in Spread Thin for this new record that you like.
That's so cool.
It's like 9 songs.
Okay.
And honest to God, every song kicks ass.
Do you know how long?
Maybe 20 minutes.
That's not bad.
Like I think it's like 21 minutes in some seconds.
I mean, you can still play a show on that.
Yeah, because we don't want to play more than that.
Right. Yeah.
I think we played almost the entire album and then our first 3 songs.
Yeah.
And it was like 21, 22 minutes because we don't want to play more than that.
So you got any bands in mind that like I'm just doing a hypothetical. Like who would be the ideal like touring mate for Spread Thin?
Dude, honestly, God, we played with a lot of really cool bands in the last couple of years of doing Spread Thin. Hostages, from Chicago, which if you guys don't know them, really good band, and also just super fun people. I love that band. They're so cool. They've been so good to us since we met them.
Yeah.
man, Defect from South Dakota. We played with them once, and they were like some of the funniest people I've ever met. I don't know if they do a whole lot, but they're a sick straight edge band.
Yeah.
And I love them. They're great. They're really cool. Livid.
Okay.
I love Livid. If no one knows who they are, 2-piece.
I've heard the name.
Straight edge power violence from Kenosha.
Wow.
Such a good band. They're incredible. Prevention from Springfield. Those guys are super awesome.
You've got this tour lined up. Like, you just need to make it happen, man.
Yeah, I would love to. I would love to do something with all of them, even if it's just a show. It'd be cool.
Now the world's back open, and we can all hug each other.
Now that it's legal again.
Now that hugging is legal,
finally they legalized hugging. It only took how many centuries?
It's about damn time they legalize hugging.
Yeah,
like what the hell?
I've been fighting for this for at least 24 years.
I just want to get on tour and hug my mates.
Yeah, I just want to hug my friends. But no, all those bands, they're all good friends of ours.
That's awesome.
And they're all people.
Do they know each other too? Like, are they kind of
like
somewhat aware?
Defect and Prevention for sure do. Oh wait, another band, Mall.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Mall
dude,
from
okay.
North Dakota. I love that band,
dude.
And I love their hot sauce.
That is a logo that I can picture in my head,
dude.
And I just know it's gonna be fucking rowdy.
Yeah. Oh, they're so good. I love that band.
Yeah.
But yeah,
what a name.
I think almost all of them like kind of know each other.
Okay.
So that's even cooler.
So a show with that lineup is possible.
Oh, for sure.
Oh,
yeah.
dude, awesome.
Like, I mean, and it's so cool because they're all better than us. So, we can do our thing and then watch bands that are way cooler.
So did you just raise your hand to be the opener?
Yeah, like, I would absolutely open for
there's
that.
no shame in like, oh, I will open for this.
Dude, I love opening.
See, and that's
I hate waiting.
I think, yeah. See, I think there's a misconception that like if you're the opener, you're the loser. Like, dude, no.
Opener, you have the easiest night.
Right.
You can load out the second you're done.
Yeah.
Unless you're like us and you share cabs with people.
Yeah.
Because like sharing gear is sick when you can. But like, dude, if you're the opener, you can just take your shit back out to your van real quick before the next band starts and just keep your merch out and hang out and enjoy time with everybody and then watch the other bands.
Right.
And you don't have to worry about like, oh, I got to warm up and blah, 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 blah. And like, dude, it rocks. Like, that's first or second.
That's sometimes like the spot.
Oh, yeah. Because people are also like, you're the one that's got to like get everyone like hyped.
Yeah, and I've also talked to other people too that like they have their preference. Like, I want to be the opener. I don't want to be the opener. I want to be in the middle. I don't want to be in the middle. I want to be the headliner. I don't want to be the headliner.
Put me sooner. I don't want to headline ever.
Really?
Dude, like we've done it a couple times. I don't like doing it.
It gets about 10 p.m. and you got to go to bed.
Dude, I'm an old man. Like, I'm an old man at heart.
You're telling an old man that you're the old man. Okay.
Dude, I'm an old man at heart. Like, that's 9 o'clock, bedtime.
That's actually fair because like I feel like I've done the exact opposite. Like, I feel like I'm in my 20s now, and it's like, I guess I could still do shit like this and like start a band.
Oh, dude, it's 100% because of Arlo.
But at the same time, I was just about to say it's 100%. Probably because
he's like fixed my schedule for sleeping, sort of. Where if it's like 9 o'clock and I don't realize it, I'll be like, man, I'm kind of tired. What time is it? And I look at my watch. I'm like, yeah, 9 o'clock.
Yeah, that's
like,
that's about where it is for me too. Like, I have to when I get home because I do 10-hour days. I get home and we got to figure out dinner, make the dinner, feed the pets, and then I get maybe an hour, 2 hours to like just kind of binge The Simpsons if I want to.
There you go.
And we'll both binge The Simpsons at the same time, and then I'm like, I gotta go to bed.
Yeah, 100% the same way. But well, yeah, let's so
we really just got done talking about the lineups. You would be willing to play the shows. You hate your
don't ever put me past second or third.
You hate your headlining, and
I'm just too tired for that.
That's fine. So speaking of tired, you're probably ready to wrap it up and call it a night. So
yeah, absolutely.
I know these first couple episodes are going to be just us introducing each other, but
it's a lot of figuring things out. So if you're watching this on YouTube,
please share in the comments ideas.
Yeah, anything you want to hear from us, anything you want to see.
If there's something obstructing the view, like if you don't like that you can see my nose, please tell me.
I'll rip it off.
If you made it this far, comment nose, and we will know that you got to this far.
Dude, we'll be nosing.
We'll be nosing it up.
We'll be nosing it up.
We'll be extra nosy.
But yeah, there's a lot we're going to figure out yet. But I think
And-
this has been a really fun start.
Stick
And
around for
once we get through kind of introducing ourselves, we're gonna bring on some buddies,
we'll get a lot of local musicians, and then hopefully we can expand that to
regional.
a little bit more regional. And then I mean, I'm not expecting it, but if there's a knock on wood, any chance that someone sees this and they want to be like, oh yeah, I'll come on, please get on here.
Yeah,
like
if there's literally anything, we're open to
we
any
want to talk about
suggestions, any
music.
ideas.
We want to talk about you, and
We just like goofing.
we love goofing.
Dude, I'm all about goofing. Big
So,
goofy guy.
that'll be the next keyword that you have to look for in the next video. So
Yeah, big goof and also big knife guy over here. I just want to give a shout out to knives real quick.
big knife and clay.
Dude,
So,
big knife and clay.
they both start with K's.
Yeah, it's true.
Knife.
KNIFE clay.
So yeah, if you made it this far, thanks for watching. Next week we'll roll out the next episode, and we'll go from there. Until then, have a great night.
Real rocker shit.
Real rocker shit.